hospital. He was admitted there at 6 o'clock this morning for surgery to his throat. Unhappily, his heart, which had given trouble in the past, proved unequal to the strain. He died around 10:45 a.m.
He always tried to help people, and he do his best for everybody, in which you say know his people.
The people kept the traditional wakes throughout the country. This wake was kept at Victoria.
I've lost something that I can never regain.
He was, and will remain in our memories, a very special kind of leader.
His sense of history and his keen understanding of how history has shaped our place in the world helped to mold his vision of the Caribbean community and of the possibilities of integration.
He championed our cause on all the fora, on apartheid, on freedom, on justice. And so the loss of President Barnum is not only a loss to the Caribbean, it's a loss to Africa.
We have lost a true friend, but in his passing we must remember all the things he stood for, and that this loss is not only felt by Guyana alone, but the Caribbean. Non-alignment and the world community share in this loss too.
Guyanese converged in their thousands to get a glimpse of the late leader. Saturday, August 10th. The body of the late leader moves into the National Cultural Center, where the founder leader will lie in state for 2 days. President Hoyt, Prime Minister Green, the Cabinet and Central Executive of the People's National Congress view the body of the leader. President Desmond Hoyt. Prime Minister Hamilton Green, Deputy Leader of the PNC, Dr. Ptolemy Reed, Vice President and Attorney General Dr. Mohammed Shahabuddin, Deputy Prime Minister Planning, Haslin Paris, Chief Political Advisor, Elvin McDavid, Member of Central Executive of the PNC, Robert Williams, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Rashley Jackson, Minister of National Mobilization, Robert Corbyn, Minister of Transport, Siram Prashad, Minister of Home Affairs, Geoffrey Thomas, Minister of Finance, Carl Greenwich, Minister of Manpower and Cooperatives, Kenneth Denny, Minister of Forestry, Salahuddin, Member of the Central Executive of the PNC, Gaukaran Sharma, Harun Rashid, Head of the PNC's Finance and Administration Division, Leslie Dundas, James Pavel Drakes, Minister of State within the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Simpson de Silva, Minister of Information, Yvonne Harewood-Benn, Minister with responsibility for internal trade, Malcolm Kurika, Minister with responsibility for regional development, Harold Singh, Minister of State for Education, Donald Ainsworth, Assistant General Secretary of the PNC, Ermia Johnson, Party Treasurer, Hyacinth Godet, Speaker of the National Assembly, Sais Narain, Bastio Bagan, Oscar Clark, members of the judiciary, friends and relatives of the late president. Many overseas dignitaries came to pay their last respects to this great statesman. Roderick Rainford of CARICOM, John Compton of St. Lucia, Michael Manley of Jamaica. And the people waited and filed past. the day of the funeral, the 11th day of August 1985, the cortege passes the church where the late president got his early religious training. The National Park in Georgetown was filled to capacity for the state funeral.
Sons of many lands and daughters of the continents apart, PNC lifts up the banner of your precious human work. All who labor are our comrades, all who suffer kin and kin. Go to mountain, field and factory, your brother, bring them in. From field and office factory, rally to the PNC. Flag and green and red and palm tree, fading cries of freedom flag. Crowds the lazy and the stubborn that will levy to and drag. Rally from the coast and borders, field and office factory. Brother, sister, friend and comrade, rally to the PNC. From field and office factory, rally to the PNC. Sacred is our leader, brother, honorable rings of toil. In the factory, in the office, gaining riches from the soil. Honorable is our what we crush the monster poverty. On the economic freedom is a great economy. From field and office factory, rally to the PNC.
Comrade Dr. Mohammed Shahabuddin, Chairman of the General Council of the People's National Congress, Vice President and Deputy Prime Minister, Attorney General, and Chairman of the proceedings.
I have the honor to open these solemn proceedings by inviting you to mark our respect by standing in silence for 2 minutes. Thank you, and do be seated. We have come to bury our dead. We have come from every part of our country to take our leader home. All the myriad elements, all the rich variety of often discordant qualities, all of a whole range of sometimes dissonant and clashing signals and sounds, which he blended with his magic and meshed into the music of a united people. They have all come. They have come to be silent witnesses for the man who took on history, who challenged the past, who dared both the present and the future to conceive, to create, to shape, to consolidate the society which is ours today. He was our teacher. He was our guide. He was our seer. When we despaired, he gave us hope. When we lost the way, he led us forth. When we spoke the language of strife, he counseled peace. When there was darkness, he brought us into the sunshine. From out of humiliation, he gave us pride. He restored our dignity. He gave us the strength of the past while freeing us from its grip. He took us into the family of nations. He built us a home. He secured it for us. He was our sword and our buckler. He was my friend. He was your friend. He was our friend. He was the friend of fighters for freedom everywhere. And we have come to tell him that what he has wrought, we will preserve, we will promote, we will defend. We have come to promise that we will not give up his quest of even greener pastures for his people. We have come to thank him for showing us the light, for setting us on the way, for giving us the means to continue, the will to continue, indeed the need to continue. We cannot fail him. We must not fail him. For he was our liberator. He was the paladin of our liberties. He was our Prometheus. He was the father of the nation. His Herculean labors are now done. And now that he is no more, we have come to sing him one last song. We have come to sing him to rest in the undying warmth of an ever-grateful people's love. We have come also to comfort his grieving but courageous widow, children, and relatives. We have come to let them know that his place in our nation is secure. We have come to tell them and to tell the world that every beating Guyanese heart will forever be a monument to Lyndon, Forbes, Sampson, Burnham.
Sail on, silver bird. Sail on by. Your time has come to shine.
30 years with consummate political skill, unflagging spirit, clear vision, and an unwavering sense of purpose, he worked among and with us to build our party into the national institution it has become, giving leadership and guidance in the struggle for the construction of socialism in our Guyana. With these characteristics and qualities, he captured the imagination of the Guyanese people, galvanized their support, and propelled our party into the vanguard of the struggle for political, economic, social, and cultural emancipation. His sense of purpose, fueled by his abiding faith in the working people of Guyana, was reinforced by their enthusiastic response to the policies and programs of the party which ensures that all Guyanese have an opportunity to work for and share in the economic well-being of the country. His clear vision saw him strive to create an organization that would endure beyond his lifetime and continue the struggle for his noble ideals. Our leader is dead, but he has left us a rich legacy, and his spirit will live on in us as we recommit ourselves to the realization of his ideas and his ideals.
Dear common leader, you have left us, but you have imbued us with your strength, your higher ideals, and your love for selfless service. The women of the party and of the country pledge that our work will be richer, inspired by these qualities, as we conscientiously work to build our party and our country, and continue the work of our great, beloved, and esteemed leader. For Comrade Viola Burnham and other members of his family, we pray that God may grant them the courage, strength, and help to bear their sad loss, in which we, the women of Guyana, share. Farewell, comrade leader, farewell.
And for I know
Forbes Burnham has secured a place for himself among the highest order of great men, men who, in the words of Carlyle, are the commissioned guides of mankind, who rule their fellows because they are wiser. He bore the hardest burdens cheerfully. He was calmest in storms and most fearless when facing threats. He always acknowledged with gratitude the smallest tokens of friendship and goodwill. If we are to be true to his memory, let us not forget the benefits he wrought for us. Ingratitude is monstrous. We have gathered here today not just to say farewell, but to pay honor to Forbes Burnham, who for so long has been a dominant and important part of our nation and of our personal lives. Let our honor of him find expression in a determination to reach the goals he had desired for us. The nation must move on to the glorious heights he envisaged. The nation must satisfy his and our yearnings and aspirations for a strong, united, and prosperous Guyana. Farewell, dear Udo. Farewell, my friend, you who have walked among kings and lost not the common touch.
As a family, wife, daughters, sons-in-law, grandchildren, sisters, brother, and the wider family of Lyndon, Forbes, Sampson, Burnham are all full of thoughts about the loss of our beloved. Rather than express ourselves separately, we decided that we might read for you some extracts from a work which was often read by him and which we all feel has a strong message for us all, the family, and all members of the larger Guyanese family. 9 of us, Roxanne, Annabelle, Francesca, Melanie, Eulogy, Asante, David, Ken, and I would like to share these thoughts of Khalil Gibran with you. And he said to himself, "Shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? And shall it be said that my eve was in truth my dawn? And what shall I give unto him who has left his plough in mid-furrow, or to him who has stopped the wheel of his winepress? If this is my day of harvest, in what fields have I sowed the seed, and in what unremembered seasons?"
These things he said in words, but much in his heart remained unsaid, for he himself could not speak his deeper secret. And when he entered into the city, all the people came to meet him, and they were crying out to him as with one voice.
And the elders of the city stood forth and said, "Go not yet away from us. A noontide have you been in our twilight, and your youth has given us dreams to dream. No stranger are you among us, nor a guest, but our son and our dearly beloved. Suffer not yet our eyes to hunger for your face."
And the priests and the priestesses said unto him, "Let not the waves of the sea separate us now, and the years you have spent in our midst become a memory. You have walked among us a spirit, and your shadow has been a light upon our faces. Much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. Yet now it cries aloud unto you, and would stand revealed before you. And ever has it been that love knows not its own depth until the hour of separation.
And others came also and entreated him, but he answered them not. He only bent his head, and those who stood near saw his tears falling upon his breast. And he and the people proceeded towards the great square before the temple. And there came out of the sanctuary a woman whose name was Almitra, and she was a seeress.
And he looked upon her with exceeding tenderness, for it was she who had first sought and believed in him when he had been but a day in their city.
And she hailed him, saying, Prophet of God, in quest of the uttermost, long have you searched the distances for your ship, and now your ship has come, and you must needs go. Deep is your longing for the land of your memories, and the dwelling place of your greater desires. And our love would not bind you, nor our needs hold you. Yet this we ask, ere you leave us, that you speak to us and give us of your truth. And we will give it unto our children, and they unto their children, and it shall not perish.
In your aloneness you have watched with our days, and in your wakefulness you have listened to the weeping and the laughter of our sleep. Now, therefore, disclose us to ourselves, and tell us all that has been shown you of that which is between birth and death.
And he said to himself, shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? And shall it be said that my eve was in truth my dawn? And what shall I give unto him who has left his plough in mid-furrow, or to him who has stopped the wheel of his winepress? For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday.
For life goes not backward, nor tarries with yesterday.
Forbes Burnham was no ordinary mortal. In paying tribute to him, a world leader described him as one of the most outstanding figures of this century. But many years ago, our party's deputy leader, Comrade Ptolemy Alexander Reed, noted and remarked upon his uniqueness and pronounced the deep truth that such a leader comes to us once in an era and not necessarily with every generation. He was richly and splendidly endowed with those rare and special faculties that are reserved only for leaders of men and makers of history. His was a prodigious intellect, keen, probing, receptive to new ideas, new possibilities. His was a seemingly inexhaustible store of mental and physical energy. His was a phenomenal memory for dates, events, faces, and names. His was a wonderful ability to make friends and to sustain friendships. And his also was a lively sense of humor that he was wont to use with great effectiveness to save the day when nerves became frayed and tempers grew short. His personal charm was legendary, and he possessed the princely grace of being able to make people in humble positions, simple folk, feel at ease and comfortable in his presence. And among the gifts so lavishly bestowed on him was a transcendental power of oratory and eloquence, by which he could move his audience to both ecstasy and persuasion. These are but few of the remarkable attributes and qualities that made up the man Forbes Burnham. And he deployed them with consummate skill and resoluteness to serve the causes which he espoused and which were dear to his heart. In a special sense, the causes to which he dedicated his life and for which he fought with such strenuousness and tenacity, both at home and abroad, could be brought under a single rubric: a struggle against inhumanity and a struggle for social justice. He abhorred any system or set of arrangements which resulted in or facilitated the degradation, impoverishment, or exploitation of man by man. That is why throughout his life, he identified with and championed the cause of the poor, the oppressed, the disadvantaged, the vulnerable. He could never accept any thesis that poverty, ignorance, disease, and related evils were a natural or inevitable element in social organization. He refused to believe that, given the political will, it was beyond human competence and ingenuity to organize society and economic interrelations in a way that minimized these evils. And that is why he was a socialist. For him, socialism was about ameliorating and improving continuously the human condition. And he passionately believed that this was a duty cast upon all governments and all people by the requirements of common humanity. He was essentially a humane person. We who have had the privilege of being close to him can testify to the remarkable humanity, kindliness, indeed gentleness, which went into the greatness of the man. Certainly, the magnificence of his mind never for one moment blinded him to the merits of opposing points. Frequently, in those hard-fought debates which are an essential and living part of our internal democracy. I have seen him begin strong, only gracefully to concede after argument to a different point of view. Indeed, argument and debate was the very stuff of his life, and the challenge of an opposing view the fuel of his intellect. Our country has had many heroes, many of them titans in their own right. But we have now lost our best friend. And I believe also that our region and the third world will be the poorer for his passing. And so today, our own titan sleeps. His sleep is just. His work well done. His loss cannot be made good. Yet, even as the hour of his passing crept up upon him unannounced, we knew that his strength would be with us today, tomorrow, and all time. For Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham cannot be held down by temporal dimensions of his age, nor can the context in which he lived and acted supply the measure of the man. For us in Guyana, he was of our time, but he was also above all time.
While the cortege moved through the city of Georgetown, leaders in the world of politics, of sport, and of entertainment gathered at the place of interment, the place of the Seven Ponds, to pay their last respects to this outstanding leader. Errol Barrow, Guyana's ambassador to India, Steve Narayan. Bernard St. John, Prime Minister of Barbados. The people of Guyana turned out in the streets to say farewell to Forbes Burnham, who guided the affairs of state in Guyana for over 20 years.
physical body of Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, with no cardiac pumping, no pulmonary behavior, no cellular activity whatsoever. Forbes Burnham is dead. I think Forbes Burnham has got it going just as he would have liked. He moved so swiftly from life unto death that even though there were many people around, I am certain some of them did not realize when he was gone. His whole life was in a hurry. When men walked, Forbes Burnham's speed of a snail was faster than our walk. When Forbes Burnham walked, we trotted and ran, with the hope of merely keeping up with him. He is no more in the flesh. But because he thought I should be named a philosopher, I want to leave with you a question. That without destruction, there can be no construction. And since I've come from the old schoolhouse, I'll repeat that. Without destruction, there can be no construction. I ask those who sit on benches now if they ever give a thought to how much of the forest was destroyed so that those benches could have been created. Forbes Burnham was no mere preacher on this earth. He was a creator. Look around and you see his many creations, what men talked about, what men theorized. Forbes Burnham constructed. Some men build castles that are built one day and are broken down the next. Some men build castles, as Ivan Forrester said, that are like bubbles in the air. Some men must build castles over and over again. Forbes Burnham has built once. Castles that will stand forever. For me, he is not dead. He, I believe, has actually destroyed himself by creating so much violence to his physical body, so that the process of development can proceed. Let us therefore see him destroy himself so that he can build not only a better Guyana, but probably better places in many other parts of this world. Yes, we mourn the loss of the greatest, of the wisest, of the strongest. Yes, that is the soul we have lost. Sometimes in my roaming around, I used to advocate that we take care of Forbes Burnham, because men of his type do not appear any time in the year. I did not dream, I did not think that Forbes Burnham would have had me saying this final message. But this message is not for him. This message is for us. That here tonight in such large numbers, with people visiting from so many parts of the world, we commit ourselves so that his sacrifice would not be in vain. Let us therefore destroy in ourselves the evils, the bitterness, the malice, the conflict, the confusions, and construct within ourselves the habits, the attitude that will push the development program more and more. If there's a message to give, that is a message from me to you, but not only from me, from the spirit and work of Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham.
Lyndon Forbes Sampson Burnham, the man, is no more, but his work lives on.